San Diego home prices just barely climbed out of negative year-over-year territory this week, level setting the boards and begging the question, will San Diego homes dig themselves out of this hole or fall back behind last year's prices again as we head into the fall season? Welcome to the San Diego Real Estate Roundup for September 11th, 2024, brought to you by Blueprint. Work with me and Blueprint to save thousands of dollars off of your home purchase in San Diego. Why pay 2 or 3% to your agent when you can get even better representation for just 0.66% of the price of the median San Diego home? Now let's take a look at our San Diego numbers. Right now we're looking at the most recent weekly Redfin print for the San Diego metro market. And as you can see, last week we fell under last year's price for the same week in terms of median sale price of a home in San Diego. Last week we were down at $900K. That's 1% lower than the same week last year. This week we are at $898,000 for a median price home in San Diego, which is 1% higher than last year. This, of course, is coming on the heels of a $45,000 decline in the median price of a home in San Diego, after peaking at $945,000 back on June 30th. The new listing median price for a home in San Diego, and this is the median price at which new listings are brought to market, climbed for its second week in a row to $938,237. Interestingly, the new listing median price point is only $15K below its June peak. So while prices have fallen $45K, the new listing price has only dropped $15K. This is evidence of maybe some agents who aren't so worried, or maybe just lazy. Now, our inventory metrics suggest a market that's weakening, but on closer look, we actually see a lot of signs of strength. In terms of new listings coming to market, we fell this week down to 602 new listings coming to market, 17.4% over last year. That's down from 607 new listings last week, but an increase over last year of 14.5%. Now, if we go down to our year-over-year graph, and again, 2024 is the orange line, we can see that we spent most of the year with about 20% more new listings per week than we saw last year. We fell off recently, but right now the trend is heading back to that 20%. Now, when we look at the numbers of homes sold this week in San Diego, we see that the number is basically flat from 509 to 509. You can see that homes sold has tracked last year almost exactly. Now, homes sold is the primary way by which homes exit the market. So if each week we've seen 20% more listings than the same week the year before, and each week we've had the same number of homes sold than the same week the year before, what does that mean? It means you get active inventory. That's the total number of listings that are active, growing week in and week out all year. Now, active inventory in San Diego peaked on August 4th, and we've been heading downward since. But relative to last year, active listings are still very high. In fact, this week was the first time since mid-June that active listings fell below 50% more than last year. So last week, active listings on the San Diego market totaled 5,211, or 51.61% more active listings than the same week the previous year. This week, active listings fell to 5,123, or 48.67 more listings than this week the year before. So yeah, we're under the 50% mark, but having 48.67% more listings than the year before, that's a huge amount of inventory growth. As a result, weeks of supply is pretty high for San Diego. We are at 10.6 weeks of supply right now, which is more than we had this week in 2022. And this week, roughly in 2022, we had 9.5 weeks of supply on the market. Now, weeks of supply as a metric has been growing for months. It peaked about 6 weeks ago and is now gently descending, though this week we saw a lift from last week's 10.4 weeks of supply on the market to this week's 10.6. Now we're looking at off-market in 2 weeks as a percentage of pending sales. This is how many homes exit the market in 2 weeks or less. This is a number that's been growing for 4 weeks since hitting a trough on August 4th. Right now, the San Diego market is looking at 43.7% of listed homes go off market in 2 weeks or less. This indicates that the market is speeding up, and a faster market is usually met with higher prices. And to reinforce this attitude, we have the percent of active listings with price drops in San Diego. And after this percentage pretty much growing all year long, it's been completely flat for 3 weeks at 6.4% of active listings carrying price drops. And what this shows us is that while price drops are elevated over 2023 and 2021, the growth of price drops has ceased. Sellers are no longer having to cut prices more to get their home sold. This suggests that prices are probably going to come back as we head into the fall. And these are the metrics you want to be paying attention to as a San Diego homebuyer. Pay attention to the metrics by subscribing right here and catching next week's San Diego Real Estate Roundup.